Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode. My name is Mohammad Reza Fatih, and I'm a life coach. What we do in life echoes in eternity. This episode is about hope and crisis. It's 6:40 a.m. The alarm goes off, and instead of getting up right away, you stay under the cover a little bit longer than usual. Almost automatically, your hand reaches your phone. Within a few minutes, you skim through emails, glance at Slack notifications, check the deadlines, and open your banking app without consciously deciding to. The news doesn't shock you anymore. There's another story about layoffs in company, another explanation of why mortgage rates are dropping, another discussion about healthcare costs rising up again. On LinkedIn, someone announces they're excited for what's next, and you've learned to read between the lines. Technically, nothing has gone wrong in your life. You're still employed, the bills are being paid. From the outside, everything looks considerably stable, but something in your body feels tighter than it used to. A quiet line of thinking slips in. Maybe this stability is temporary. Maybe one unexpected shift could change everything. Maybe recovery isn't as guaranteed as people pretend as it is. This is what crisis looks like in much of the United States, Canada, and Australia right now. It rarely explodes because the countries are significantly stable. It lingers. Life keeps moving, meetings stay scheduled, responsibilities continue, yet beneath the routine, there is a subtle awareness that the ground feels less solid than it once did. And here's where we begin. Let's talk about different types of crisis in the modern world. Modern crisis doesn't always announce itself. More often, it blends into daily life. Financial pressure never fully lives. You might not be struggling in a visible way. There's income coming in, you're not behind on rent, but over time, the margin has been narrowed. Housing costs have climbed faster than expected. Mortgage renewals come with numbers that feel heavier than before. Grocery bills are noticeably higher. Student loan payments have resumed for many in the United States, and credit card balances quietly increased during inflation. In the United States, medical expenses can shift a financial plan overnight. In Canada, many younger adults feel permanently priced out of the housing market. In Australia, cost of living pressure stretches even households with two incomes. Outwardly, things look fine, but internally, there's tension. At this stage in life, it shouldn't be like, am I secure? Financial crisis today rarely looks like collapse. It looks like sustained pressure without relief. And sustained pressure quietly weakens hope. Crisis number two, when professional identity is under strain. In Western culture, work is more than income, it's identity. Conversation revolve around career and progress. Promotions feel personal, and layoffs feel existential. Conversations revolve around career and progress. Promotions feel personal. When I get promoted, I get proud of myself. And layoffs feel existential. Industries shift quickly. AI is reshaping roles. Remote work changes visibility. Contract work replaces long term security. Scrolling LinkedIn can trigger comparison without warning. Seeing peers pivot careers or announce promotions can quietly destabilize your own sense of trajectory. Psychiatrist Viktor Frankl suggested in Man's Search for Meaning that meaning determines whether hardship becomes bearable. The modern challenge is more subtle. It's possible to be progressing and still feel misaligned. Motion without clarity is disorienting. And the next crisis we are going to talk about is about health. Health concerns carry weight beyond the physical. In the United States, insurance complexity adds financial fear to medical uncertainty. In Canada and Australia, wait times and system strain introduce different forms of anxiety. When the body feels unpredictable, long-term plans feel fragile. I assumed I had more time before thinking about this. That thought alone can shift how safe the future feels. And that feeling is crucial because based upon your feeling, you decide your most important decisions. Next crisis is relationship under modern pressure. Urban Western life is busy and connected, yet loneliness is increasing. Cities like New York, Toronto, Vancouver, Sydney, and Melbourne are full of people, but emotional closeness require time and presence, both of which we don't have enough. Work stretches itself through the evening. Dating culture has changed. Long-term relationships strain under financial and career pressure. Disconnection rarely arrives dramatically. We might say, I'm alone. It's okay. And by the age of 35, I could just be lonely and this is fine. But the old ages wasn't like this. You used to be married by 25. And the next crisis is the existential undercurrent. You followed the expected path, education, career, independence. Yet, during a commute or a late evening alone, a thought surfaces. Did I actually choose this direction or did I simply continue along it? That question challenges authorship, and without that authorship, hope feels unstable. Now, let's talk about different reactions to crisis. When stability feels uncertain, behaviors shift. Some people attempt to regain control by adding more productivity systems, more certifications, more structure. Effort increases in hope that anxiety will disappear. Others quietly withdraw. Risk feels heavier. Applications are postponed. Difficult conversations are avoided. Cynicism can also appear as armor. Researcher Brent Brown has explored how protection against vulnerability often limits growth. Surface level optimism sometimes replaces honest processing, but none of these reactions alone construct hope. So, that's why we're going to talk about how real hope is actually built. Hope is not accidental. We might say, have hope. Like, how? It is constructed intentionally. To make this even more practical, imagine someone in Chicago or Toronto, mid 30s, stable marketing job, rent just increased. Company announced restructuring. Savings get thinner than expected. Nothing catastrophic, but anxiety rising. Here's what building hope actually looks like. It's not like in motivational videos. I'm talking about bare truth, naked truth. Step number one, restore agency in measured steps. Instead of trying to fix everything, try to block 1 hour on a Saturday morning. Write 3 categories: what I cannot control, what I partially influence, 3, what I directly control. Corporate decisions go in the first column. Professional visibility is in the second. And 3, spending adjustment and outreach emails is in the third. That same week, the life of that man can have some sort of direction. One unused subscription canceled. One former colleague contacted for coffee. One targeted course enrolled in. Life is not transformed, but evidence is created. Evidence says, I can still influence outcomes, and agency precedes hope. Next step is to distinguish facts from interpretations. 2 weeks later, layoffs happen in another department. An internal narrative forms immediately. Instead of getting confused, you could write fact 8% reduction in a separate department, but interpretation I am replaceable. Separating event from story creates distance. You see, distance restores clarity, and clarity protects hope. Next step is regulating before deciding. One anxious evening, instead of scrolling headlines for hours, just step outside for 15 minutes. I'm very serious. Breathe slowly and allow your psychology to settle. Nothing external may change, but perceptions internally will shift. A regulated nervous system sees more options, an overstimulated one. And when you start to see extra options, those options act as oxygen of your life. Next step is structural progress. Over the next months, commit to making progress. One extra skill can strengthen your hope. Professional relationships can maintain your hope. A modest emergency buffer is created to make you hope. We are not in hustle culture anymore. This is resilience era. As Ryan Holiday writes in The Obstacle is the Way, obstacles become training grounds when approached deliberately. So, whatever you want to do, whatever you're afraid of, actually plan to improve yourself in that direction. And for the final part, economy changes, technological shifts, healthcare complexity, and evolving social norms are woven into modern Western life. Avoiding crisis entirely is unrealistic, but actually preparing for it remains possible. Hope is not certainty, it is continued engagement in uncertain conditions. It is taking small structural action when the broader system feels unstable. As long as participation continues, possibility remains. And where possibility remains, hope can be rebuilt. What we do in life echoes in eternity.